What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Daddy. I don't know why I got the giggles right now, man. We got Barefoot Mel on the podcast. How you feeling today?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh man, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good. I'm glad I got some coffee right now. Feeling good, feeling great. And we have yourself on the podcast right now. I'm pretty excited for that because you are you and you're an awesome person. I feel like I'm just kicking it with the homie right now. Like already. We haven't even got to start
Oh,
podcasting yet.
I'm
So
so
Barefoot
happy.
Mel. I know. I'm happy too. I'm very happy. I've been seeing you on Instagram and Twitter and all those places. It looks like you just have a good ass time doing what you do.
I love it.
Yeah.
I
What's the
absolutely
best part? What's the best part about all of the content creation for you?
love it. There's so many good aspects of it, but like if I had to pick one,
Hmm.
it's honestly just being able to express myself and like please guys while I'm doing and ladies. I mean shit. While I'm doing it.
Absolutely. That's right. Because you're bi, correct?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Self-proclaimed. I seen it on your, I think, like your bio or something like that. It's something that you're loud and proud about.
Mm, as of lately, yeah, yeah. Just recently.
Oh, wow. So it was something that you weren't really like forward about at a certain point, or did you just discover it?
I mean, I've always like been attracted to women, but I guess I just didn't like realize that like, oh shit, like it's not normal that you're, looking at a woman and being like, damn. You know what I mean? And
Like,
then
damn.
like you think, yes, yes. And I'm like, damn, that girl's got it. And I was in a heterosexual marriage and for the longest time I just kind of like and I've always been a tomboy. Growing up, I was like always a tomboy. So, I tried it with a woman and I'm like,
It's
oh
better.
fuck.
Uh, yeah, I feel like women are just so beautiful all around. So I could totally understand when a woman is attracted to another woman. Now, everybody has their preferences, and I support everybody's decisions on what they do. I think everybody should just do what they like and love who they love. I think that's the most beautiful thing all around.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And so, like, being somebody like myself, like, whenever I see like a hot ass chick, see, I'm married. So when I see, a beautiful woman, I don't necessarily like go out and blurt it out around my wife or nothing like, hey, babe, look at her butt, but she knows what's up though. And she's very like secure in her womanhood to where she is cool with me, checking out other women. And I don't care if she checks out other guys or whatever the case may be, but as long as there's some kind of respect and boundaries. Do you feel like the respect and boundaries are like pretty similar in a relationship that is bi for you, or is there like differences, like major differences, like personality wise and just within all the traits?
Oh my God. Well, first of all, there's so many differences. Women just in general understand each other way better. Like the way that men think seem to be way more in the box, like cut and dry, black and white, where women seem to understand each other's emotions a lot better and just be on the same, playing field. And it's just, we'll look at each other and it's like, I know what you're thinking without even saying it. But yeah, you said something about what did you say? My memory is completely gone.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, like, are the personality traits within like dating in both genres, should I say? Like, do you see like a huge personality trait difference? Random question, I know, and it's a hard question probably too.
Honestly, it all comes down to connection and chemistry. Like you have to have that chemistry and connection in any kind of relationship. It doesn't really matter, if you're bi, if you're, heterosexual, anything like
Yeah,
that, gay, straight, whatever. That's so important, is that connection, physically, emotionally, sexually, all of it.
absolutely. And see, I asked a question like that because I feel like there is a lot of people who don't understand that everybody is, alike, and one another is very, very similar in so many ways, and it's not always the gender or sex that they've been classified as. Like,
No.
people like who they like, and that's what it's gonna be.
Exactly. Exactly. I agree 100%. Yeah.
See, I know that I'm a heterosexual guy because I'm only attracted to women. I only say damn when I see women. When I see other guys, yeah. And like, see, if I saw another guy and I was like, damn, then I'd probably question it. But I don't. I see other guys and I'm just like, oh, what's up, homie? You know what I mean?
Right, right.
Like, are we gonna be cool, or are we gonna, or do we gotta fight right now? No, I'm just playing. But like, I've been hit on before by guys who like guys, and it is what it is. I don't get mad or offended or nothing like that. In fact, I feel like when a heterosexual guy gets mad or offended, like, that might be when it's time to question your sexuality. It's like, why are you upset? Like, are you like nervous or scared that your manhood might have been tested because you've thought of it in your
Oh.
mind? Right? Do you get what I'm saying?
A lot of men are so insecure about their masculinity, and they just project it. And it's like, why you gotta be like that? What difference does it make what you're into, Or maybe they're just closeted and don't and don't
Really
realize it,
though,
you know
and they
what I
don't
mean?
know it yet. And then they don't
Yeah.
know it. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like those guys who proclaim themselves as alpha males. Like, I don't
Oh,
think alpha males need to proclaim themselves as an alpha male.
I mean, you can taste it just looking at them. You're like, ugh.
Beta. It's okay to be a beta. There's gotta be a little bit of everybody in the world.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. Yeah, everyone has their
Would you
place.
have you ever thought of, like, your, as far as your personality traits go, is if you're a beta or a alpha woman?
I'm definitely a beta. I'm a type B personality all the way. I mean, my anxiety tells me otherwise sometimes,
Mhm.
but I'm just super, go with the flow. I'm usually more submissive with women than I am,
Mm,
with men, but I'll do what I'm told.
I could dig it. I could dig it. I was just gonna ask, do you think that there's a possibility of a beta sub, or excuse me, a beta dom? There wouldn't be a beta dom, would there be? Or there could be, probably, right?
There could be, there's such a thing as soft doms where they're,
Mm,
more sensual, soft, loving, that kind. Well, I mean, they're all loving, but you know what I mean. The soft dom is basically like a beta dom. Yeah.
right. That totally makes sense. So you would consider yourself more of a sub with your partner now?
Oh, I'm a switch. We're both
Switch.
switches, which mm.
That's how you keep it spicy, though. Caliente.
Exactly. Exactly. And kinky too. God damn.
I'll tell you something, and this is something that is just random to me. All night last night, I was in and out of sleep. I somehow still slept good, but in and
Mhm.
out of sleep. All I could keep thinking in my head was how I believe that in my life, I would be considered a dom, because, like, I try to think of myself as somebody. I like to play with the or explore the thought of being a sub to a woman. And I know there's so many that I've been meeting lately who are dominant women, and they have guys who are subs. And I just think it's an amazing world. And I try to think to myself what it would be like to be a sub. And I just can't find myself grasping the idea of myself doing it. And so I'm thinking, what does that mean? And I'm thinking this as I'm sleeping. That's the weirdest thing to me, is that like I'm having these thoughts as I'm sleeping, but they're like conscious thoughts. I'm not like dreaming or nothing. And I'm like, does that mean I'm a dominant person? So in my marriage, my wife, like we're probably both dominant. We go at
Mhm.
it. And I think that's why it works, our marriage, for some reason, the fact that we both clash and all that. But it makes me like wonder to myself, okay, like if I was in a relationship where I was more of the dom and my partner was the sub, would it, well, first of all, would it even work out like for the long term? Probably not. But like would it work out for like my dominant personality, my Taurus personality? Probably so. My ego would probably get inflated. You get what I'm saying?
Right, right, right. Yeah, there always has to be, that dynamic of transparency and trust and openness in any kind of, you know, um, in any kind of relationship. So,
Yeah, no, there totally does. There totally does. Well, let's talk about your relationship with the foot world, because it seems like you're very dominant in that world.
I guess I don't know. I'm just doing my thing.
You're just doing your thing, just having fun, taking pictures, doing content. I go on Twitter and it's like a whole new world to me, because I started my profile on YouTube, and then I went to IG, and then my friend Alexis Abuse, who was on this podcast, she's a P star, and
Mhm.
she she told me like, dude, you got to be on Twitter. So I said, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get on Twitter. So now I'm on Twitter, and I'm like, damn, like Twitter's a whole nother world. Like you see everything on Twitter.
Oh my God. I started on Instagram for like the longest time, and it wasn't until, I don't know, maybe a few months into it that I moved over to Twitter, because I'm like, I'm missing out on something here. I go over to Twitter and I'm like, I've been following all these beautiful women on Instagram for like months now. And I look over on Twitter and I'm like, damn,
Her vagina is right
I've been
there.
missing out.
It's-
Yeah.
I know what you mean. And see, I've always told everybody, and this is the truth, that because I like to keep it professional and I don't want to look at my guests or potential guests as something that I would like masturbate to or something like that.
Uh-huh.
I try to stay away from the fans accounts, and I support all that. I promote it and everything, but I try to stay away from all that, just to kind of keep my mind right and everything. And then I go on Twitter.
Right.
I'm like, oh, man, I can't even scroll through the timeline. I got to stay off the timeline because all of my friends are butt naked. You know what I
I
mean?
apologize for that.
No, you gotta do what you gotta do, and I support it. Man, you guys know I support it, man.
That's
Um,
right. That's
but
right.
anyways, I say all that to say I came across a self-worship video of you, and I was like, what else? What's up? It looks like you were enjoying that whole process.
I love to self-worship. Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it.
What is
Oh,
it
I'm
about
sorry.
it,
I
though?
can't like all of this.
Uh, What's up, kitty cat? What is it about self-worship that you feel, really turns you on, makes you want to make content even more?
Oh, I mean, there's nothing like getting your feet worshipped, right? Nothing
Mhm.
like it. It feels so good. And when you do it yourself, to yourself, and then like knowing that the person watching is like getting pleasure from it. And then, I just when I worship my feet, I like to pretend that I'm like actually like, I don't know if I can say it, but
You should just say it. Educational purposes. At YouTube, this is for educational purposes. So,
okay, okay. I'm like giving my toes a whole ass blowjob. That's it.
ah,
That's what I'm thinking of when I suck my toes. Yeah. Yeah.
sorry, YouTube. I didn't know she was going to say that. Time out.
I know.
I'm kidding.
I'm
I'm
so
kidding. I'm kidding. No, I hear you. No, that's very interesting. And then as far as the pleasure for yourself because you're doing it to yourself, right? And you're imagining that.
Yeah.
Is there like a feeling that you get from the senses on your feet when you're doing that?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. It looks like I'm enjoying it. I am enjoying it.
You are flexible. I feel like anybody that could do self worship is highly flexible. You could probably do the splits.
I don't know about splits. I feel like the old lady in me would like tap out right away.
Stop! No more splits.
Yeah. Like I didn't sign
Dude,
up for this today. Damn.
I remember back in the day, I was when I was probably like 8 years old. I was really flexible, and I used to do choreography dancing with my sister. Not like, not really in the class or nothing. She was a cheerleader, and she knew all the dance moves, and she would need somebody to be a part of the dance move, so I would do it with her. That's something that I've never told anybody, by the way. That's me being vulnerable on the podcast, and
I
so I would
appreciate
dance with her. And
Mhm.
I think that she did it as a joke, but she wanted me to jump off the bed during the dance routine and land in the splits. And I was like, I don't think I could do that, sister. And she was like, just do it. You'll be okay, Jimmy. And I'm like, all right. So I do it, and right away I realized my manhood wouldn't allow for that dance move, and she was laughing. I was crying, and it was jacked up. She would torture me in that kind of way. And sometimes she would torture me too, just
Uh-huh.
innocent
Uh-huh.
innocent sibling stuff or whatever. I see it a lot though in the FFC community with all of the tickling. Do you ever explore the tickling scene and get tortured in that kind of way?
Yep. Yep. My girlfriend is a Lee and a Lur. So, and I've never being in the community, in the fetish community, you run across all of these kinks and you're like, I don't get it because I've never experienced it, but okay, I'll run with it, whatever floats your boat. And so I didn't really understand it, but I would chat with these people in the community, whatever, and try to learn as much about it as I could. And then when my girlfriend and I started exploring together, she told me that she got turned on from tickling. And I'm like, that's a kink, right? And she's like, no. And I'm like, hell yeah, it is. So, we explored it together, and now I understand it. And it's just that sensation on your skin. It just adds to the whole experience. And I'm all for that. Hell yeah.
Something just dawned on me when you were telling me that story. Have you ever heard somebody say coochie coochie coo while tickling?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes.
What else
I've heard
is
it
a
all.
coochie? What else is a coochie? What if that came from somebody doing a kink tickle and said coochie coochie coo, something like that? Like, what if it came from that? That's fucking wild. Think
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Am I
Well, I
tripping?
mean, well, with the foot kink. I don't know if I can say the F word, but the foot kink, um, a lot of people realized that they had it, like, when they were in school. So
Right.
maybe, like when you're going through puberty and all that, maybe they realized like, hey, maybe I'm into this. It's just the whole psychology behind this whole thing is truly what fascinates me.
It really does fascinate me as well. And I
Mhm.
tell you what else fascinates me. And I don't know if you know about this, but I usually go over this before the podcast, but I do something called a foot marshal where I zoom in the screen on you and you just be yourself and do whatever. I'm gonna go ahead and give some shout outs to whoever's watching live right now. So if you're watching live, drop some comments, some flames, anything like that. I'm gonna zoom in the screen on Mel. She's gonna be herself and let's play some music. Make sure you smash the like button if you're watching right now because it helps the podcast incredibly. If you're listening or watching this on Spotify right now, leave a review because it also helps the podcast. And I know you want your favorite podcast to shoot up in the ranks. If it doesn't, then I'm just going to never do a podcast again. How about that? Apple. Make sure you're leaving a review on Apple as well. I see there's some live people right now. Make sure you drop comments and show your love and appreciation for Mel. Smash that like button. She's in the pose right now. The pose is becoming something popular on the Plenty of Feet pod, actually. She's mastered it, as you can see. She's the pose expert. We got a picture right there, and then she's live in the pose, so shout out to that. All right, everybody. Oyo Dodino, man, is there any bug you hate? He always wants to know about bugs. So, Dino, why do you only care about bugs? Bugs done nothing to you, Dino. Okay. They probably surely have done nothing to Mel either, right, Mel?
Bugs.
Yeah.
You know, they have nothing personal against me. They really don't. They can't help it. We're living in their world, you know. But spiders, I gotta tell you, I was sitting in my kitchen the other night and I was just like scrolling through my phone as I usually do. And I look and I'm sitting on like a stool and something like catches my eye like right here. And I'm like, so I look up and this spider dropped down from the ceiling in all places in the kitchen to drop down from. He dropped down like right here and he was like, you know, his legs were all out and like just in midair, like right like eye contact with me. And I'm like, oh fuck no.
How dare he?
Right. Like out of all the places in the kitchen, why like right here?
Making eye contact with all 18 of his eyes and your two eyes is like nah, bro. I had this spider come on my foot one day at a public restroom at the park and I lost my shit. I kicked my whole shoe off. I go running out the bathroom. I'm flipping off my shirt. I'm taking it off. I'm running out the bathroom. I'm screaming. And I see people at the park. They're looking at me and they're like, what's wrong with this guy? Right. And little do they know, I just had this, I think they call them wolf spiders. Yeah. Wolf spider was on my shoe. And the reason why I even seen the spider was because after going pee, I went to flush the toilet with my foot. That's what you do when you're at public restrooms. And I put my foot up. I'm like, you know, and I see that big ass spider on my foot. I lost my shit. I'm not joking. I have absolute arachnophobia, and it sounds like you do too.
Yeah. I'm not afraid to admit it. Yeah.
Most people do. I feel it's all the legs. I think that make it so creepy.
And they just have the ability to like move however they want. You know what I mean? I mean, if they could fly, we'd all be fucked.
There's some that can maybe not fly, but some that jump far.
Yeah.
That's terrifying. That's terrifying. A jumping spider, and I'm scared of spiders.
No.
That's absolutely terrifying. What other phobias do you got that you know of?
Oh my god. I have like a house fire phobia. I do have a house fire phobia. I don't even know if there's like a name for it, but yeah.
I feel like there is definitely got to be a name for it. And in fact, we are going to research this right now live on a podcast. Phobia of fires. Let's find out. It is called pyrophobia. It refers to the fear of fire. The word pyrophobia originates from Greek pyro, which means fire, and phobos, meaning fear. Damn. Finding out facts on the podcast today. That's what it's called, though, pyrophobia. So you don't like fireworks, do you?
I I like fireworks. I just don't like house fires. I was in when I was like really young, I was in a house fire, and then we had a house fire here in 2012. And so like as a homeowner now, it's like my biggest fear. I'm like smelling smoke in the house. I'm like, "Oh my God, what's on fire?" You know what I mean?
Or that smell of gas freaks me out too because that can also start a
Yes.
fire. And
Yes. Yes.
and I never know if maybe there's some doubled eggs being created in the kitchen or some kind of eggs being cooked or if somebody passed gas, you know, and I'm like, what's that? What's that smell? Hold on, time out. Like I I have a very sensitive nose. I have a big nose, so it works really good. And I know when something's different, you know what I mean? So I feel you on that. No, I mean a house fire, you being involved in a fire when you were young, that's some really traumatizing shit. Talk about childhood trauma. I feel you on that.
Yeah.
That's where the pyrophobia was created. Are you willing to talk about that house fire when you were younger at all? Or is it something that you don't like talking about as well?
I mean, I don't I'm pretty open about everything. I mean, it happened when I was like, I don't know, like 6 or 7, and, it was on Easter, and we were at my aunt and uncle's house, and they had been having, like, stoking the fire in, like, their fireplace all day long, and my uncle didn't know that there wasn't, like, a firewall in between the fireplace. And so it was just heating all day long. And then, in the middle of the night, it like caught. And I just woke up to like everyone screaming. And I'm like trying to find my younger sister, and she wouldn't wake up. And like, it's just, scary. It was traumatizing. And then everything, you couldn't see anything. And we all got out, and they told us that like, if we had been in there for like 5 more minutes or something like that. And then like we didn't know it at the time, but the door that we were exiting the house from, the fire was right underneath it. So like it was just it was crazy.
That sounds absolutely terrifying, no doubt. I've never experienced a house fire firsthand, but just thinking about it definitely scares me a little bit. Um, yeah, man, like, cause like burning, that's not the way to go. I don't think any
No.
way is the way to go, honestly. But if it had to be a way, like hopefully quick, not a torturous type of way, you know?
I think about this like more often than someone should. If I'm gonna go, it's gonna be in my sleep. Just please put me out of my misery in my sleep. Like I don't want to feel anything. I don't want to nothing. But like I think my husband was a firefighter, so maybe like my subconscious, having a firefighter in the house where I could feel like safe and protected if anything were to happen. Maybe,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
That's interesting that you married a firefighter at a certain point and you had a fear of fires. So you needed
Mhm.
a protector, you felt probably like sub in your subconscious. That's deep actually when you think about it.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah.
deep right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you a pretty deep person, would you say? All around?
I think so. I'm all for, shooting the shit, that kind of conversation. But, if someone needs to talk, I'm always down for a deep conversation, you know?
When is the conversation too much though for you? Like when do you start yeah, yeah, start hitting all those answer buttons?
If the other person just keeps going and going and going and you can't get a word in edgewise, I'm just like, or they start talking about like their opinion, and their opinion is like far off in like some kind of left field, and you're like, where the hell are you getting these ideas from? But I'll still listen to it, but yeah.
When somebody gives you opinion that you don't agree with, do you ever voice your opinion back in return or do you just let them be?
You know what? I've always been the type of person to just nod and smile, but recently I just don't have the energy for it anymore. So if it gets to like that point, I'll just kind of, you know, just kind of get quiet, I guess, and just let them. let them go, and just whatever rocks your boat.
Yeah, it's like when the time is right to say something, or if you feel like you're around somebody that you can be open in that kind of way and not say something to where they're going to go on and never have their mind changed. Those are the kind of people that I will not tolerate in my space for very long. If you are just one track minded and you can't see things any other way, or you don't take anybody else's opinions for consideration, and you're just like stone brick wall, I'm like, are you a robot? Like, do you have no emotions at all? Like, how do you not consider other people's opinions at all? It's like being at a bar or something like that, and
Oh,
somebody could sit anywhere in that bar and they come sit next to you and then light up a cigarette and you don't smoke. It's like, come on, man. You know what
right,
I mean? Those are
right.
those kind of people. Those people are the ones that would do that kind of stuff. And it's like, it is what it is, though. I mean, you can't control people, though. You can't control people, and you can't control what other people do. I get that. I mean, that must be how you live your day-to-day life and stay so happy. It seems like you're always smiling and always happy. That's not a facade, is it?
No, 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 not at all. It's just, I mean, due to recent events, I guess I'm less bubbly than I've always been, but I'm getting back into it just because I miss my old self. I miss being more optimistic about things. So, you know, um I just everyone's going through shit right now. You know what I mean? Everyone's going through some kind of overwhelming stress, or it's just so just be kind to people, you know what I mean? Just there's no point in being, irritable or nasty. Just be
What
happy.
what do you feel like you want to be more optimistic about? What did you lose the optics on?
Pff, um, my husband passed a few months ago. So,
Gosh.
the depression, the anxiety, it just all the stress, everything that you have to go through. I was 27 at the time. I'm 28 now, but when you're that young, that's not something that you have in the cards quite yet. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah,
yeah.
well, I'm so sorry to hear about that. That's not something that anybody could prepare for, losing somebody special and dear to your heart. It's something that when it happens, you just freeze, and everybody tells you the same thing and you appreciate it. They tell you, I'm sorry for your loss, my condolences. And you try to process the feeling of what's even happening. And I don't think that
Mhm.
you really truly realize and gather all those thoughts until some time has passed. And even then, it's like, damn, you still can't believe it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the whole it's a whole part of the grief process is like, denial, shock, that kind of thing, being unable to process. So,
Yeah.
as my cat is sitting on my ass.
Shout out to the cat. That's why I don't let the cats in the podcast room, because my cats will just be all over the place. They might chew a wire, chew a hole through the wire, and the next thing I know, the podcast is off, and or the
Uh,
Wi-Fi is or something like that. But yeah, man. Well, man, I feel for you, when it comes to that. I mean, I definitely don't want to keep, the podcast too weighed down, with that,
mhm.
because I know that's fresh. I mean, 2 months ago, goodness gracious, that's a lot. That's a lot to deal with. And I mean, damn, man, how do you, like, so you say you're just kind of just now starting to kind of be able to smile again and kind of get out there and have some fun?
Yeah, yeah. It was back in September, so it was more than 2 months ago. But um yeah, I'm just, the sun's coming out. I live in Western New York, so we get the really long winter months, and so the sun's just starting to come out. There's blue skies, sunshine, the flowers are coming out. So there's so much more life outside, where, before it was just kind of dismal and cold, and everything was just waiting for the sun to come out, and the sun's out.
Did you know that the beginning of the year used to actually be in spring, and that's why they call spring spring because it springs us into the new year. Everything kind of goes away in the winter during the cold. All the plants and the trees, they've already lost all their leaves, and they start coming alive again in the spring. And that used to be the beginning of the year, but ever since we switched, I believe, to the Gregorian calendar, they have the new month structure. But if you look in Ethiopia, there's 13 months. Or if you look in, there's another country, I can't think of it off the top of the head right now, but they also go off a different calendar. And that's interesting as fuck to me because time is literally an illusion. And they tell you, oh, the year starts here and ends there. But how old are we really if time and calendars are just a man-made construct? It's like, what is age really just an illusion to make us feel cursed like we're aging when really in actuality we're living some kind of internal life? And then when we go, are we really going anywhere? Or are we just waking up in another timeline? Do you ever think about stuff like that?
I was just, it's funny that you're bringing up now because I was listening to another one of your podcast episodes earlier today where you were chatting about this with Cosmic, I do believe, actually.
Yep, it
And
was with
yeah, the idea that energy cannot be created or destroyed. So when we pass, where's it going? It can't just die.
It's gotta go
Where is
somewhere.
our energy going?
It's gotta go somewhere.
Mhm. Mhm.
I get
Yeah.
vibes from animals sometimes too. I get some kind of vibe that they have a spirit that I recognize or know. Like, so here's something that I haven't told anybody. When I was 21, 22 maybe, my father passed. And ever since then, I have felt and my family has felt like he has a spirit of a hummingbird. And when we see hummingbirds, it feels like he's there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I totally get it.
and that's like that's what I'm wondering. Like, is it a reincarnation thing, or is it just the spirit somehow transfers to something within our realm in the world that's appears to be, a living organism, and the spirit may be transferred to that. Like even my dog sometimes, my pug, I'm like, I feel like you know me more than you should. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. Or like you go to like a psychic reading and you had an animal pass away, a pet pass away, and they'll bring up the animal and the say that the animal like you know uh loved when you played with him out in the yard and stuff like that. And it's like, how do you know that? You know what I mean? So I totally get it. I totally get it. Yeah.
And you have some special animals over there right now.
I sure do. I've got a I have 12 cats in the house right now and two dogs.
12 cats?
Yes.
I heard
Yes.
that correctly.
Yeah.
She has 12 cats and two dogs, everybody. You are literally the crazy cat lady.
I
Maybe not
I can't
crazy.
even deny it at this point.
Wow, that is a lot of cats. And they're in-house cats too, or some of them outside cats?
Well, there's 12 in the house and five barn cats. So there's 17 total if you want to look at it that way. But after my husband passed, my younger sister, her now fiance, and then my girlfriend and my older niece all moved in with me, and all came their cats.
Well, isn't that
So
a beautiful thing? Sounds like you have a house full of love right now.
I don't know what I would have done without them, quite honestly. Yeah.
That's a very special thing to say right there. And there's nothing better than having people that truly care for you and adore you, to be around. I mean, that's the best, man. Does
It
anybody cook for
surely
you?
is. Cook for me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah. Yes.
What you all
They're
eating?
my sister's fiance and her sister, which is my girlfriend. We're sisters dating sisters, by the way. That's
Really?
yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, yeah, but they're great
So,
cooks. Like they're always over my shoulder like what are you doing there? What are you putting in that? What spice are you putting in there? Why are you doing that? Like and it's just
what,
I always have them like right here, like, talking to me in my head, like, okay, I gotta put more paprika in this.
ooh, okay. We got a cabinet full of seasoning at the house of Barefoot Mel.
It's very
What's a
important.
common dish, would you say, at the house of Barefoot Mel?
Ah, comfort food. I mean, look at me.
Stop it.
I'd say like chicken and biscuit. Mwah.
Like fried chicken?
No,
I
no,
love
no,
fried
chicken
chicken.
and biscuit.
A chicken
Oh,
and chicken and brisket or biscuits?
biscuit. Chicken and biscuit.
Oh, what about
Yeah.
chicken and waffles? You ever do chicken and waffles?
I have never. I've never dipped into that. One day I will get up the courage. I'm pretty open to anything. I'm not a picky eater at all, but I've never just had the chance to try chicken and waffles.
You surely should try chicken and waffles. If you ever go to LA, you got to go to, of course, Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. It's more of like a fast food feel. I mean, you dine in, but it's nothing crazy or nothing like spectacular to look at. But you know, for some reason, their waffle is like so delicious. It has cinnamon in it. It's kind of a thinner waffle.
Mm.
Yeah, and so you get chicken on the side, right? And this is what I
Mhm.
do. I put some hot sauce on it, and then I don't know. Oh, I just thought of that song from Friday. I put some hot sauce in my burrito, baby. All right. But yeah, I put some hot sauce on my chicken, and then I syrup up my waffle, and it's like the for some reason it's the best combination. It's probably because there's some sweet and then some salty. I'm assuming. Yeah.
Absolutely. Daddy Good's doing it up.
All right. Well, I could imagine. Here's this is just speculation. I know what else might be salty. Those feet, baby. No, let's get into a commercial, y'all. Smash the like button if you're here right now watching it live. Make sure you drop some comments. If you're here live, I want to shout you out. So, shout out to Oil Dino, man. You're always live. Shout out to you. You got to find out what you do for a living because you're always on all these podcasts. Shout out to Dr. Jazzman. He said 12 cats. Unbelievable. Shout out to you. Shout out to Tyler. He said it could be possible seeing the usual toe spreading contest at the final part of the show. Well, hey, that's up to her. That's up to
Hell
her if
yeah.
she wants to give y'all some close ups and some toe spreading. Shout out to the Coverland Darkness. He says, "Lovely smile." I agree. I agree. I do have a lovely smile. I'm just playing, everybody. Shout out to Anil Shema. Shout out to I Love Feet YouTube. He says, "What do you think of the Giants' fetish?" All right, we'll get into that actually after this. That's kind of tight. Gorgeous Feet Pics said he just said the spider came on his foot. Hey, time out. I'm not like that. Jesus. Goodness gracious. Y'all are terrible sometimes, man. Shout out to Tony Partridge. He said the pose is good for that. One thing adds the view with it. Oh, okay. All right. Well, hey, the pose. Yeah, the pose is popular. And for some reason, it has become popular on the podcast. Shout out to Swift Gaming. It says, can we see her wrinkles? Like on her soles? Yeah. Because it doesn't look like she has any wrinkles on her face. I do though. All right. Oh, shout out to William Lewis too. Oh, there y'all go. Smash the like button. And again, if you're watching this on Spotify, leave a review. And if you want to sponsor this podcast, I could be talking about you right now. So let's get it. All right, we're back. All right, so I had a question from somebody here,
Uh-huh.
and they say, "What do you think about the giantess fetish?"
You know what? I am not here. I do not kink shame. You know what? Like what did you say? Kink shame, not kink shame or something like that.
Um,
It's something like that.
oh yeah,
But
no, it was somebody else said it, but I've been using it. It was it's no kink shame, just not kink same.
exactly. What I say to people is that, in this day and age with everything going on, you just want to come home and whatever rocks your socks. Whatever gets your socks wet, you know what I mean? As long as it's legal and consented, that's as long as it's those two things, go for it. But the giantess is it's quite interesting, isn't it? It's quite an interesting kink to have.
It is actually. I feel like it's probably more favored in the sub world. If you're a guy who likes to be a sub, you might
Hmm.
like to be stepped on or kicked and things of that nature. But I don't know. I can't imagine somebody who feels to be dominant to want to be stepped on or something along those lines. But apparently, the pain receptor in some people's minds sometimes is close to the pleasure receptor. And I hear the same thing about the feet, like the part of the
Hmm.
brain that recognizes feet and things of that sort sometimes is really close to the pleasure part of the
Hmm.
brain. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. And then they see feet and, it turns them on, or they think of orgasming or something like that, which is honestly really interesting. It's very, what word do I want to use right now? All right, let me do a little backstory to what I'm about to say right quick. I went on a random person's live on TikTok earlier today.
Hmm.
The reason why I went on a live is because, of course, my algorithm shows me a lot of feet stuff, even if it's not
Of course.
like, even though it's not a foot model or anything like that, it's just a everyday chick, right? That happens to have
Hmm.
her feet in the video, and it shows it to my algorithm. So I see she's live at the moment, and I tune in on live sometimes. I jumped on her live, and I said, "Yo, it's your boy Daddy Goods. Follow the Plenty of Feet pod." And she read it and she said, "What's the Plenty of Feet pod?" So I went on to say, I do random little promo opportunities once in a while. And that was my opportunity for a random promo and probably a live that had nobody who would be interested in it. But I did it anyways. And she said, "What is it?" And I told her what it was. And she said, "That's so weird. Why are people such weirdos?" And I said,
Oh,
"You're one of
come on.
those." You know what I mean?
Come on.
It's like, man, like, why does it got to be weird? And maybe you're weird for not even opening your mind to the fact that this is actually a thing and people are into it.
Exactly. Exactly. Whatever adds flavor to the bedroom, go for it. Go for it.
Yeah, it only makes life more interesting, in my opinion.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Like it just adds so much variety and spice and everything like that. My girlfriend and I we worship each other's feet. That's part of, the bedroom kind of aspect of things, and it feels fantastic. We both love it. So it's just whatever gets your socks wet.
Who started saying that? Is this something you heard before? Is this a Barefoot Male exclusive?
That's an exclusive.
I fucking knew it. Well, Barefoot Mel, we've been on the podcast 51 minutes now, and I like to keep the podcast around this time. I'm sure we can go on for 2 hours. Eventually, I think we'll start doing 2-hour podcasts, as long as the people want it. But I have been incredibly honored that you would be on the podcast and that you were so willing and down. I tip my hat to you for, being about that life and being true to your fans, true to yourself, and just being a great, genuine person all around. Thank you for that. If there is something that you would like to tell people, your fans, your friends, whoever is watching right now, what would you like to tell them?
Just to thank them so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing this with me. Thank you for having me, Daddy. And
Absolutely.
just to take care of each other, just to take care of one another. That's the most important thing. Most important.
That's beautiful. And I agree. Taking care of one another, very important. Taking care of the viewers of the podcast, taking care of your fans, taking care of your family, having love, having peace, prosperity, and just joy every single day. I think that's what we're all about. And remember, everybody, if you love this show, press that like button. If you love Mel, I got her social media right there at the bottom. It's IG at Mel_Rose. So it's MEL_ROSE 93. Twitter is Barefoot Mel, just like it sounds. BarefootMel. And man, go follow her. I believe this podcast in the next, let's just give it a year, I think it's going to be at 100,000 views at least. So everybody keep on rocking with us. Thank you, Barefoot Mel. Shall we foot marshal our way out of here?
Absolutely.
Let's do it. And don't go anywhere after the podcast so that I can holler at you once the broadcast has ended. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the Plenty of Feed pod, POF pod. Yeah, it's amazing. It's always fun. It's always fun kicking it with everybody and having a good time. Believe in the process, everybody. Trust the process in whatever you're doing because good things are coming. Believe that. And hopefully when you all are, it's not while I'm on the screen. No, just playing. Oh my goodness. Shout out to Barefoot Mel. Incredible. And shout out to the kitty cat. I'm surprised only one gave a feature to the podcast today. Dr. Jazzman says that he misses chatting with Mel. Well, hey, you got to chat with her today, basically, on the podcast, hanging out. Anyways, everybody, thank you for watching. Smash that like button. Leave a review. Oh, I accidentally did that a little premature. We are out of here. Woo! What's your last question, Dino? He said, wait, please, no, wait, one more question. What's your last question? You got 10 seconds. Type it. I don't always do this, but I got to show the loyal listeners and viewers of the podcast some love. What is your last question? Hey, man, I'm going to give you 10 seconds because I'm starting to think you logged out. If you logged out, then, it is what it is.
It's a good thing I wasn't like picking nose or anything like that.
I know. That would have been, I would have edited out somehow. He says, is there any bug that you'd stomp on because you hate? Dino, you already asked that question. We're out of here. Bye, everybody. Gosh, Dino. She told you already.